Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Zach from the Vanguard, but this is my new show, a little impromptu whenever things are too crazy from now until Election Day. I just want to pop on here and give you guys the what's what. And I just saw the absolute craziest poll come out from the Morning Consult, and I couldn't wait until tomorrow to talk to you guys about it. It's pretty nuts. So, a lot of you guys have probably, rightfully so, forgotten all about Ted Cruz. He's kind of dwindled himself into irrelevance. He tried and failed to kind of overthrow the MAGA takeover of the Republican Party. You guys all remember the vote your conscience RNC moment. After that, he kind of fell into obscurity. I try and fall into obscurity too if I ultimately endorsed and, ate dinner with a guy that called my wife ugly. All that aside, he's being challenged by Colin Allred, who you guys may remember from his time as a Tennessee Titans linebacker, if you're old-time football fans, or potentially you know him from his time as a Dallas area congressman, of which he still currently serves. But this is absolutely crazy to see. And perhaps right now we should write it off as an anomaly. But looking at it, Morning Consult's a pretty reliable source. And with the momentum hurtling towards Kamala, I mean, she's soaking it all up. Donald Trump continues to get in his own way. He continues to step on every banana peel, take every bit of bait, and honestly just take his mask off and it reveal to the public that he's just an unserious candidate. But I wanted to take a look at this article from Newsweek. I know. You guys are talking about, oh gosh, Zach, I can't believe you're bringing us a Newsweek article. But bear with me for a second. I want to go ahead and check this out. So Colin Allred gaining on Ted Cruz. This comes a day before this Morning Consult post that shows that he's actually taken a lead, right? We were seeing a surge. And it might be because they're starting to put some money into this candidate because they think that he has a chance of beating Ted Cruz. The Democratic Party always invests traditionally in states where they feel like they can win, and then they kind of fall asleep at the wheel when it comes to a state like Texas or a state like Missouri, where you have senators like Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley who are pretty abysmal, but they haven't necessarily they haven't really shown that the Democrats can win in those states anyway. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. It's good turn of pace, or change of pace rather, to see this happen. Republican Texas Senator Ted Cruz still holds on to a financial advantage over his Democratic challenger, Representative Colin Allred, in his campaign for re-election. But the Dallas area congressman has pulled impressive fundraising, earning more donations than Cruz every quarter since entering the race. So that's what you guys have to understand about a senator, like Ted Cruz. He's been in office for a long time. He's been an establishment goon in the Republican Party. He's built up a war chest, right? So while right now more people are donating to Colin Allred, Ted Cruz still has a lot more money available to his campaign because he's built it up over the years through all of his different waves of popularity. You guys have to remember, Ted Cruz burst onto the scene and got famous, I kid you not, because he was the most unlikable Republican on the George Bush campaign. I want to say that again. Out of all of the miserable rat bastards on that George W. Bush campaign back in the day, Ted Cruz developed a reputation as being the worst, the most difficult to get along with. He survived every wave. He went off the deep end with the Tea Party, and eventually, like we talked about, bent the knee to Donald Trump and went full MAGA. That's not selling like it used to. Clearly, he's having to dig into, some funding, rely on some cash that he tucked away under the mattress. He's going to need it. But let's read on. Though Cruz is still viewed as the favorite, Democrats now view the Senate race in Texas as one of the few opportunities to flip a GOP-held seat in November in a state that has not gone blue in a Senate election since 1988. I think it's a lot smarter to run a guy from the Dallas area in a bid to unseat Ted Cruz. You guys might remember last time Beto O'Rourke took a shot at it, and that was basically how he launched his political career, right? And I think that he was from El Paso. It was a little far away. The urban epicenter of Dallas, I think, can drive a lot of votes, and it can drive a lot of votes that will swing Texas. You already know you're going to get the majority of the turnout in a more liberal city of Austin, thread the needle in Houston by getting a good, turnout there for the Democrats. It could definitely be done. Though, once one of the reddest states in the country, the Lone Star State has become increasingly competitive in recent years, despite Democrats' dreams of flipping it blue having yet to materialize. Texas has crept towards purple state status due to growth in cities like Austin, Dallas, Houston, and as their suburbs shift away from Republicans, President Joe Biden's performance in the state was the strongest in decades for a Democratic presidential candidate, and Democrat Beto O'Rourke came within 3 points of topping Ted Cruz in 2018. Again, I say the vibes are more with Colin Allred than they were with Beto O'Rourke in 2018. And I think that the vibes are more with the Democrats this time around, certainly than they were at that time. Again, I don't think the anti-Trumpness really was going to uplift Beto O'Rourke in 2018. I think at this time, just the overall unseriousness and the lack of political celebrity that Ted Cruz can offer. Again, I'm not saying it will happen, but I think it provides an opportunity for them to weasel in. It would be very interesting. Anyway, all that being said, I just wanted to come on here and offer you guys a really quick breakdown on what's happening and the potential flippening that could occur in a state like Texas. Again, typically before we see a state go blue in the electoral college, we'll see a state go, 50-50 in the Senate, or we'll start to see a real breakup in how their congressional map is looking. And this time around, I think that it could be a sign that the suburbification and the expansion of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Houston area, the Austin area, driving a lot more people from California and other parts of the country to the state of Texas. What does that do? Well, it makes a guy like Colin Allred, who's a pretty blasé, milquetoast, standard liberal. He's not a progressive. He's not a revolutionary. He's a pretty cookie cutter Democrat. And what does that do? It creates an opportunity for the Dems to, oust Ted Cruz. He's not going to be alarmist to any of these people who, typically would vote Republican, but they just can't stomach Donald Trump. We're hoping that they can't stomach Ted Cruz either. Potentially, we see some change in the Lone Star State. Thank you guys for tuning in to a very choppy first installment of the Nothing Burger. Again, nobody's tuning into this. We'll see if it gets any pickup in the algorithm. It's way more fun to do a live stream when you have an audience. So maybe people will find this. Maybe people will hit the like button. Maybe people will hit the subscribe button. If not, I'll be back on the Vanguard. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Peace out.